with one little breakout in between, which, a week to give us all a rest. We are beginning to bring this part of the process to a close. But as most of you know, the work is only beginning. The research authors have a bundle of work to do, and this great input will be terrifically helpful. So what I really want to do is I want to turn this over to Annie Hawkins from Rhoda, Lindy Heiss-Dutton from Rosa, also give kind of the agencies who supported this effort and participated actively a chance to say some final words as we begin to close. I would note that we had, I don't know, probably somewhere around 20 breakout sessions. I think we had 240 different questions in Menti. We had 30 different kind of Zoom chat questions. We had somewhere between 200 and 300 people at any one time on these sessions. So we had a really terrific participation all the way from Belgium to California to Alaska, I think even to Hawaii in a few cases. So really appreciate the broad involvement and the depth. With that, Annie, I'm going to turn that over to you to begin to bring us home.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much. I will keep this short, but we just really wanted to thank the literally hundreds of people who between serving on the project team, giving the presentations, leading the breakout groups, and the attendees, it really took a huge effort and a huge amount of people's time to put this together. Especially thanks to CBI and Pat and his always excellent facilitation. We could not do this without him. It was great to have both agencies' leadership kick off the conference and to see the growing collaboration between the federal agencies, states, commercial and recreational fishermen and wind developers. There were way too many topics that we've covered in these 3 days to recap, so I won't even try, but it is clear that we have a huge amount of work left to do collectively. We've got our jobs cut out for us. In particular, we heard about significant challenges to fill knowledge gaps and adapt fishery science and management activities to keep up with new activities. But we also heard about several opportunities to work together, and in some cases, possibly even improve the ways that we view and approach cooperative research if we do this right. So there's a lot more work ahead. We're going to need all of your help. I just saw David's question in the chat, whether this will be an annual thing. We can apply for another grant with NIMS, so put in a good word for us. If you liked it, we can try it again. But in the meantime, we mentioned that this workshop is kicking off the longer report that'll be drafted through the winter and spring. 100% please reach out if you're interested in working on drafting the report, giving input, being part of focus groups, interviews, whatever format works best for you. Everyone that's attended is an expert in their own right, and your input is super important, and we want to make sure that that's captured in the report. Rhoda doesn't maintain a general mailing list right now, but we will keep updating our website with relevant information. We're working on some fact sheets, stuff like that. I've seen some suggestions that in the comments as well. So, keep an eye out, and we'll keep improving that. For those of you that are affiliated with the fishing industry, if you haven't joined Rhoda, go right ahead. You can get on our mailing list then, and the opportunity to have more, to participate in more future meetings that we'll have through the winter and hopefully for a long time to come. For other folks that are interested in being more in the loop, getting more information, absolutely encourage you to visit Rosa's new website. It's rosascience.org. Lindy does maintain a general interest mailing list. And of course, I think that everyone attending here is probably very interested in Rosa's activities. So if you're not on that, please get on it. I know Rosa will be having some announcements coming soon. We're planning more specific events to the West Coast and Gulf of Maine in the coming months. We know there was a lot to cover here, and in some ways may have given a little short shrift to issues associated with floating wind in those regions. That is not because you guys aren't important, and we will be paying a lot more attention to you in the coming months, but some of the issues are quite specific, and just being at a different phase in planning and all of that, there's still a lot more work to do. So we'll definitely be focusing on that. The NYSERDA State of the Science Workshop on Wildlife and Offshore Wind is the week of November 16th. For those of you who haven't heard of it, you can email me or just Google NYSERDA State of the Science. Oh, and I see someone's putting it in the chat. That's great. There are certain areas of overlap. That workshop is on wildlife and offshore wind, not specific to fisheries. But of course, there's obvious areas like benthic habitat, protected resources, and physical oceanography that are of mutual interest to fishery scientists and fishermen, as well as folks interested in protected resources and wildlife. Our planning group has been coordinating with theirs to minimize duplication and make sure that we're sharing all the relevant information, but certainly that workshop may be of interest to a lot of you, so we direct you there. And finally, we got several questions during the workshop about research in Europe and sort of what's known and what's not known and what's going on over there. We tried to incorporate that into a lot of the presentations, but we continue getting information and creating partnerships with our European counterparts, both within the fishing industry and at the research organizations. We've just kicked off the ICES working group on offshore wind and fisheries interactions. It's really starting to dig into these issues, and we'll keep reporting back. And thanks again for your time. And I'm gonna let Lindy take us home.
Thanks, Annie. And, you know, again, thank you so much to everyone for such a great meeting. I think it was incredible that we had over 200 people a day on an online meeting like this. And, you know, everyone did their best to actively participate. And I really appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge, you know, that we recognize that you all took time away from your other activities, you know, including fishermen that took away time from fishing. And we really appreciate you coming and providing your feedback. You know, as Annie said, there's much work to be done, and we hope to, you know, continue to address these science issues collaboratively as we move forward. And I wanted to draw your attention to a few things that ROSA has coming up in the next few weeks. On the last session on October 15th, we had a breakout session talking about some monitoring guidance that ROSA formed a working group to work on. That guidance is now out for public review through November 18th. So it was posted yesterday, and it's open for the next couple of weeks. So if you go to rosascience.org and you go to the resources page, right at the top, there's a big banner that talks about that guidance and how to submit comments. So please, everyone, we welcome your input on that monitoring guidance. In mid-November, hopefully around November 12th, we'll be opening the call for members of our research advisory board. So these will be the folks that serve as our key technical advisors for the organization. So, you know, if you're in this meeting, you probably qualify for the research advisory board. So we hope that you are interested in participating. Excuse me. So please stay tuned for more information on that. We'll have that coming out soon, the kind of call for members. Our next ROSA Advisory Council meeting is on Monday, November 23rd, and it's open to the public. We will begin kind of having this really great conversation of where do we go from here and how do we prioritize our efforts. And so we welcome you to attend that meeting as well. Really the best way to stay informed, as Annie said, is to join the ROSA mailing list. So if you go to rosascience.org, any of the pages within a few seconds, you should have a little window that pops up that says join our mailing list. I promise I won't spam you. We usually don't send out things more than once a month, and it's usually tied to something important, you know, an agenda for a meeting, excuse me, a call for our research advisory board, those type of things. So please sign up for that. And as my allergies decide to take over, I'm going to wrap this up. So again, thank you to everyone for your participation. Thank you to Rhoda, to NIMS, and to BOEM for initiating this effort and for inviting me as part of the planning team not long after I started with ROSA. And for all of your work with offshore wind developers as well to form ROSA. You know, we got formed because of these collaborative efforts. Thanks so much to the CBI team for your incredible planning and facilitation and tech support. You guys are magic. And, you know, I just wanted to say, have a great weekend, and I really look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Be safe. We'll be in touch. Thank you all.